Joff from Revitalize Yourself. He has a fantastic new up and coming YouTube channel. He's focusing on the carnivore diet and lifestyle as a nurse in, I believe, Australia. So today we're recording on opposite ends of the planet, hence why he's wearing blue blocking glasses. I get to stare at my glorious bright blue screen. So excellent stuff. How are you doing today, Joff?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Jonathan?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I'm quite excited for this one. I knew it was in the works for quite a while, but we've managed to sort of find a good time. So I appreciate
Yeah.
you waiting and being patient so I could have the setup in my studio. Anyway, I want to ask you today about the diet and how you found it and how you got into it. So was there a particular influencer or social media person online that you thought, wow, that's inspiring, or did you just happen to come across it through trial and error?
All right. For context, I've been on the carnivore diet now for nearly 2 years. So it's about a year and 8 months or so. And how I come across it was very interesting. I first started doing a low carbohydrate diet, um, which I found out from a work colleague and had introduced me to it. Yeah, before the carnivore diet, and basically along with the searches that you do on YouTube, certain influencers would pop up like Dr. Paul Mason, Sean Baker, Dr. Ken Berry, and I think the ones that really did solidify it for me was this crazy professor by the name of Professor Bart K, who who started talking about the Randall cycle, and that's I guess that's what really got me thinking that, oh right, well, why don't I give this kind of a diet a crack? Um, because it made a lot of sense actually. So yep, I immediately transitioned. I swapped my diet completely from a low carb ketogenic style diet to a carnivore, which really wasn't that much of a big change due to just the type of foods that I was already eating. So yeah, and from there, it actually the first week of going carnivore, uh, I definitely would say my body felt it, and not in a good way. The first thing that I noticed was just, I just broke out in complete rashes all over my skin. So that was a little bit traumatizing. Um, and yeah, I kind of stuck through with it. I don't know. I had this gut feeling in my mind, just thinking, I've got to, pursue. This is my kind of mentality: is that I'm all in or I'm not. All right. So part of my mind just said, nah, I've got to switch into gear. Let's push through this. And so after a few weeks, um, the rash went away. Uh, and now looking back at it, I could kind of, I guess, deduce it to what I think to be oxalate dumping due to the amount of high oxalate foods I was eating before the carnivore diet. So I was on things like drinking these turmeric drinks, turmeric teas, lattes. I was on, eating a whole bunch of plant foods, spinach in my salads on a daily basis. And so that big swap to, just cut all those foods out, I think was a form of oxalate dumping. So that was my only really big hurdle with the carnivore diet. And from there, things started to change, drastically. I lost, uh, total body weight rapidly, probably about between 2 to 3 kilos a week. And in total, in about 6 months going carnivore, I lost about uh, 40 kilos or 90 pounds of total body weight. And that is with no exercise and no, um, yeah, I was living a moderate, sedentary lifestyle, with my only exercise being working as a nurse and working on shift work. So yeah, I on top of the weight loss, I improved a whole bunch of other things that I was experiencing prior to the carnivore diet. My life was throughout my 20s was going through that downward spiral when it came to my health, um, and in particular, uh, I was experiencing things like cardiac symptoms, which got worse and worse as I progressed to my 30s. So I was having heart palpitations. I was having, you know, blood pressure issues, and having chest pain to a point where a year before the carnivore diet, I was, you know, pretty much in hospital every week. I was taken by ambulance for chest pain, and this at that time probably 28-year-old kid would pop up, and doctors would say, "You're fine, go home, it's fine." Um, and yeah, had all sorts of investigations done, and that took a toll, not just on my physical health, but also my mental health. So that really took a big impact on me mentally. So um, fast forward into the carnivore diet, all of that has been ameliorated. Blood pressure is normalized. Um, no longer having palpitations, no longer having chest pain, um, and mental health has just improved drastically. Definitely, mental clarity has improved, and being able to just deal with life in general. I feel like um, it's been a breath of fresh air, really. I feel like, yeah, a whole new person. So that's basically in a nutshell what has really improved in most in my life being on the carnivore diet. But other little things like skin issues that I was having, I had really bad eczema, um, and I had a lot of I guess you would say joint pains, uh, because I do. So I've got a big history in training.
Yeah.
So I trained pretty much throughout my late teens to my 30s, doing strength training. Um, got into the gym uh, and started, with general strength training stuff, and then progressed into powerlifting. So that took a toll as well, and my joints had a lot of joint pain, which had a lot of setbacks with my performance and also consistency in going to the gym. So that may have also been attributing to a lot of the wear and tear, um, and and the kind of diet that I was eating in the past was of course, a standard mixed macro Western diet. So yeah, that's, I guess, my journey in a nutshell, Jonathan. Um,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. How did you? I mean, did you have an underlying cause or diagnosis for all the chest pains? That's quite alarming to the doctors say anything. You know.
Well, the first thing that the first, I guess, sign that or symptom that was picked up was in my early 20s, which I know now to be not an indicator, but my cholesterol and lipid levels. So that was the first indicator that the doctors had said, well, that's something to watch out for. In terms of the actual chest pain and and uh, and all that, I've had all diagnostics done. I've had stress tests. I've had echocardiograms. I've had the whole lot, and there was nothing significant that they could find. I was told that I did have some minor arrhythmias or irregular heartbeats here and there, and also some, I guess they say, a genetic sort of traits of a some sort of a valvular, not disease, but yeah, basically the valves in your heart that were just not too bad, but had a little bit of a murmur sound into it. So nothing definitive. I wasn't diagnosed with any sort of I guess hard cardiac diseases like angina or yeah, heart attacks or whatnot. But yeah, they also did. The doctors also did possibly raise the fact that it might be a bit of anxiety and mental
Yeah.
health involved in it. So yeah, no
Yeah, I
real
can relate to
diagnosis.
that as well. I mean, I've never had heart issues, that kind of way, but when I've had a lot of stress, my body's reacted to it, on a very acute level, so not a chronic kind of thing like yours might be. But yeah, it's almost like my body's giving me a psychosomatic response to sort of
Yeah.
say something is going wrong. My body knows something's going wrong, so my brain's telling it. So it's just nice to hear someone that's getting a benefit now because of the diet. So it seems like it could be the diet's kind of sorted out your stress pathways a little bit. Blood
Yes.
sugar might be more regulated, so that might be a reason. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So how you mentioned a bit about your training performance and things like that. So you're quite a keen powerlifter, to my understanding, and you recently hit a very good PB. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So my powerlifting profile really has been I've trained pretty much all my 20s as a powerlifter. I've competed in a few local competitions, and when I was on a mixed macro diet, it was great actually. I actually attributed a lot of my strength gains and wins in the powerlifting world to be, my health standard. This was, I didn't care what was going on at the outside, didn't care about the chest pains. I was hitting PBs. I was I was smashing weights and I was competing. I loved it. So that was a big distraction to all that. But um yeah, I actually yeah, due to the downward spiral of my cardiac symptoms that I was experiencing, I stopped training 3 years. I stopped training for 3 years until I lost all the weight on the carnivore diet. And about a year into the carnivore diet, I just felt like, I don't know. I felt like there was a part of me that I just missed, and I thought I definitely feel like I could do this again. I feel like this is something that I can, bring back. And I was just hoping for the best, that it would bring me that joy, bring that joy and passion back, and I guess happiness, and it did, because the minute I started training whilst I was on a carnivore diet, I not only did I feel like this was a piece of cake, it was pretty much like riding a bike. Um, I do feel a lot stronger. I feel my performance has vastly improved, and what I mean by that is just my energy overall. I mean, as a powerlifter, I used to drag out my sessions. I used to drag out my sessions 3, 4 hours a day. It used to be, break after break after break, and I used to train at the powerlifting gym. So I used to,
Yeah.
spend a lot of time talking to people. And now, as with focus more on myself, I'd cut my sessions to, 45 to an hour maximum. And I feel like, just cramming all those exercises in, I feel like I could still go for more. And, what else? Although I'm at a lower body weight, I think if you calculate the amount of weight that I'm lifting now, I feel like it's definitely at a I'm lifting a lot heavier than I was before. So and the recovery as well on the carnivore diet, maybe it's to do with the amount of protein that I'm consuming, has been amazing. I think yeah, I just feel overall my performance has definitely improved. I recently, I guess, hit a PB on a deadlift. Uh, so my goal right now is to hit a triple bodyweight deadlift, which is right now 180 kilos, and I hit a 160 at a pretty good RPE of, I would say, 7 uh, last week. So and that's under 6 months of training. And that 180 kilo PB will also be my PB when I was a big boy at nearly 100 kilos. So
Yeah. You must feel so much better now being significantly under your previous weight. I mean,
yes,
I've not had a dramatic weight loss journey like a lot of people. I'm a bodybuilder, so I've always kind of been in shape, but I've increased and
yeah,
decreased mass in some kind of way. For me, going from 125 kilos that was before to like 110 or something like that I am now,
Oh wow.
It's so dramatic. And people are
Yeah.
telling me I still need to lose more weight. I'm like,
No.
I was lean up then. I was like, I have got to a point where I actually got down to 95 kilos before. I was emaciated. My skin, my body was like, I was so sucked up, like contest
Wow.
shape. So my body weight, it just is. I do have a big skeleton. I'm a heavy person. But it's funny looking in hindsight, like the amount of difference it can make just by reducing your body weight by a few percent. So, I mean, I really want you to capitalize on this interview about how your weight loss has really affected your life. Because, I mean, I look at you now and see a fit, athletic individual, but before, you're a bit of a state. You know, you weren't in a position where you could say you're a healthy person. So, how has that changed you?
Well, that's changed me drastically. I guess now looking at the photos now, I just I don't know the term for it. Is it body dysmorphia? Where
Maybe.
I just I don't know. I was never conscious about the way I looked, and now I look at the photos now, and I thought, oh gosh, that was unhealthy. But I guess the weight loss. Oh, that's improved not only my energy that I feel in my day to day, in a day to day basis, but um, as a shift worker, working on in the hospitals, you know, uh, carrying less baggage and working, you feel a lot better and you feel a lot more, I guess, ready to deal with more critical situations. Um,
Yeah.
I remember just as when I was a big boy, I was huffing and puffing, just getting through my shift. Um, and so yeah, just the day to day things, it's improved me in that aspect. Um, Strength wise, I mean, in terms of gym performance, yeah, I don't really feel a big difference in terms of strength. Oh, sorry, I do. I do feel stronger, but um, yeah, there's not much I can really pinpoint to
Yeah.
with 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 the gym stuff. It's more just in the day to day, in the day
The
to day things that
lifestyle
I
kind of
do.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can put it down to a lot of different things. For myself, I'm not eating 6 meals per day anymore. I'm eating
Oh
three or four.
yes, yes,
Like
yes.
my time
Yeah.
is freed up. I'm not going to bed in a full stomach because I'm more aware of all the things around health that we've, perhaps as bodybuilders, maybe powerlifters as well, taken for granted. We'll be of the mind
Yes.
that we have to eat so many meals each day, and although I still eat a lot
Oh
of meals,
gosh.
they're smaller. My life's more.
Yeah.
I can sit in front of the computer now for 6 hours straight and not worry about food. No
Yeah.
issues. So you might have
Yeah.
noticed that as well with working on shifts, perhaps. I don't know.
Oh, look, Jonathan, I now that you bring up the amount of times you eat a day, so I eat OMAD. I eat once a day, and I eat before I go to work for any of my shifts. So when I'm at work, I've got during my breaks, I can do whatever I want. How awesome is that? I so what I normally do is I get out the hospital if I'm on a day shift. I get my natural sunlight and I try to get grounded, take off my shoes, sit by the grass, and ground myself. Where I probably couldn't do that, in a if I'm focused on you know eating my lunch or my dinner, and same thing for my performance in the gym. I don't feel like I need to have a pre-workout meal of 120 grams of carbohydrates to get me through my session. Um, and yeah, any carbs at all. I feel like I don't need to carb load just to get me through anything basically. So yeah.
I've had the same experience. I recorded the video earlier. Sorry, when I looked at the stats, say the numbers I had, the best scales I could get to work out what happened to my body over 687 days on the carnivore diet. I have been doing it for 3 years and 4 months roughly, but that was, I had 687 days to deal with in terms of data that I had. So I thought, well, here's a photo of me then. Here's a photo of me like a couple of weeks ago. So here's before and after on the carnivore diet for about 2 years or something. Yeah, it's a very dramatic improvement in terms of muscle mass. My body fat gain, my body fat did go up. However, I was doing it off the back end of bodybuilding contest preparation. But I've
Yep, yep.
gained like 3+ kilos of muscle on a carnivore diet,
Wow.
containing like the only carbs I eat are from like dairy and eggs and stuff. So you
Yeah,
know,
it's not very
the,
much.
it's not a lot. I mean, for me, it's a lot because I, I drink a lot of milk. I buy like raw milk and colostrum and things like that, and cream,
Yeah.
cheese, eggs. You know, but it just goes to show we don't need all these carbohydrates. Life is a lot more easier, and the meal
Yes.
timing things really free things up. But yeah, what does a meal look like for someone like yourself? So perhaps outline your stats, like your body weight, maybe if your body fat estimate, what your OMAD meal looks like.
Right. So my stats are I'm 165 centimeters or 5'4". Currently sitting. Last I weighed myself, I was 61 kilos. So I can't sort of calculate in pounds. But my meal for my OMAD for the day is generally between 500 to 700 grams of protein or sorry, not protein, 500 to 700 grams of beef, or whatever meat I'm eating that day. Mostly it's beef. And I do add in supplement of fat. If it's steak, I chuck on some butter or some sour cream. And I drink probably, I'd say, a liter of water. I don't drink a lot of water.
You're
That's
like me, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't drink
my
a lot of
body
water.
weight's about double yours, but I drink double what you drink. But people
Okay.
still think I don't drink enough. I'm like, I drink 2 liters a day and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. Yeah,
And that's probably
amazing.
another big change from the carnivore diet is that training on a mixed macro diet, I used to guzzle these big, 2, 3 liter bottles of water in a session, in one session. And now
Yeah,
it's like I don't even drink at all.
yeah, we've become
And
more
body
intuitive
weight.
for sure.
Sorry. Yeah.
We've become more
Yeah.
intuitive for sure. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Body fat. I checked on the scales. It was about 18% body fat.
that's
Estimate,
good.
I think that's what's come up as, and that's pretty much all the stats that I do collect. Yeah,
Yeah, is that a Renfo bioimpedance scale or anything like that?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I used mine as well today. You should be glad to know I was, I think, 18.7% today. So,
Oh,
yeah. When I was in contest shape, I think it said 11%. So they're not accurate by any means, but
no,
they work and
yeah,
they provide a trend. So they show if you're in the
yeah,
right
yeah,
direction, I guess. That's what we know.
yeah,
Yeah, nice
yeah,
one. I'm glad to hear that. But that's amazing. You lost by sounds like 40 kilos of body fat, and you're still
yeah,
just as strong. So that's incredible.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you have any final thoughts then before we wrap this up about anything you'd like to add, or perhaps anything you'd like to promote or talk about?
yeah. So look, I guess I'll go into my social media and my YouTube channel. So I started a YouTube channel called Revitalize Yourself and also an Instagram account because I was tired and sick of being on the sidelines when it came to, you know, uh, social media. Uh, as someone who has been practicing in the healthcare system and has been taught the traditional ways of modern medicine, it was such a big shock to me to learn all these things from influencers like Professor Bart Kay and Sean Baker, Anthony Chafee, basically anyone in the carnivore or low carb space that are saying things like saturated fats aren't bad for you. Cholesterol is not it's not an indicator for heart disease, and a myriad of other things. It was a big shock, really. And while I was experiencing a lot of joy and a lot of happiness with the fact that I was making improvements with my health on a day-to-day basis, I come across people who are in hospital that are experiencing all the effects and all the damages done by poor lifestyles and diet. I'm talking about things like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancers, and whatnot. And and it kind of put me in a position where it became very difficult for me to, I guess, to find satisfaction in seeing that, and not being able to do a lot of change because it's no secret. Um, the current information that people are receiving when it comes to their health and well-being, it contradicts our lifestyle and what
Yeah.
we know now as carnivores. And so put me in a very hard place, and it got me thinking, for months and months, like, um, I'm a nurse. This is my job is supposed to be providing best care for people. Um, but it's difficult. So for an outlet, I needed to I guess see how I could make those small changes, even if it was just one or two people that listened to me. That would bring me some gratification. So that's why I started my channel, and that's why I started getting into social media in the first place. So yeah, that is you know my starting point. This is my starting point, and I'm enjoying it. I think being connected into social media has brought me a lot um, closer into the carnival community. People like yourself, Jonathan, who um, who I followed for quite some time now, and have just been shy to And then when you put out there about the carnival crew, I was put my hands up straight away, and I thought, oh no, I'm getting
Yeah.
into this. So I
I
will,
think I think in summary, you just need the opportunity, don't you? So you need
yeah,
one, you obviously have the information because you spent all this time learning from people like Professor Bart Kay, Sean Baker, Dr.
yeah,
Chiefy. But now you're in a position where you can start to put some information out based on your own sort of subjective opinion, your own
yeah,
experience,
yeah,
and you're able to influence more people. Like I come from a
yes, yeah,
background working in a palliative care ward as a volunteer, and I
yeah,
wasn't able to influence the choices there. I wasn't able to influence the duty of the ward manager to change the menus or
yeah,
anything like that. There was
no,
nothing I could do. But at least in this kind of instance, people like yourself can give out information to people to promote the carnivore diet and
yes,
have an influence to the point where you're promoting kind of like root cause healing, like preventative medicine,
yeah,
stopping people from
yeah.
getting ill. So a lot of gratitude for people like yourself, honestly, a lot. It's much appreciated, honestly.
Thank you, Jonathan. And you hit the nail on the head there. That was a really good summary of what I'm trying to get out. Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap this up. I'm going to be interviewed by Joff very shortly, so we're going to wrap this up now. Thank you for coming on today. Appreciate you having you on. If you guys have not yet, please subscribe to him. He is an upcoming YouTuber, just like I was when I started with, I think, 2 subscribers. Then Harry Sapanos gave me the opportunity on his channel, so you always have to pass these things forward. It's always important to collaborate and share ideas and just understand you're not the only person out there with a good opinion or good facts. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks for the opportunity, mate.